Even though the vermilion red is lighter than the other cadmium reds, it still isn't light enough. So I'm adding some highlights of white here and there, which I will then blend just to the side of the brush, just where I want the light to be catching his feathers at the top of the tree. And I think that will make a difference. Just there, and maybe a little in the center. And then I'll just blend that slightly. I don't want to turn them pink, but just a little lighter than they are at the moment. Down here I added touches of yellow, and that looked nice, but I don't want yellow up here. I'd rather have the white. And then I'll leave that, see how that settles. Then I've got some viridian green and some phthalo green, and I'm going to start making the leaves with those. I just haven't decided how big I'm going to make the leaves yet. Well, that's the macaw, and he's probably not quite finished yet, but for now he is, because I can't do more while he's wet. And I added touches of white there over the vermilion just to give some more highlight, because it still wasn't contrasting enough with the other reds. And now I'm doing the leaves. I tried using the filbert, but it was too small for this, the type of leaf I want to make here. And although I do want the leaves to be large, I don't want them to be so large that they are covering the bird. It is a rainforest, but you know, he's visible from the rainforest. So I'll just use this small angle brush and do the leaves like that. And they're going to be a lot of layers to these leaves. Obviously they won't all be the same size. And depending on how you use the brush, different colors come, you know, different strengths of color come off. But definitely there needs to be a lot of green around him. So that's what I'm doing, starting with a phthalo green, and then I'll move on to, no, this is actually viridian green, and then I'll move on to the phthalo green, using the cool colors first to make them recede, and then I'll go on to the warmer colors where I want some of the colors closer to him to be a little brighter. But again, not too much, because I want him to stand out. That's why I used emerald green in him, so that, because emerald green is a warmer green, and that will bring it closer to you, closer to the viewer. So this one, there might be one leaf hanging down into this sunny patch. Well, a couple of leaves actually. Yeah, and they can be all different. I've added a profusion of leaves in the viridian and the phthalo green, and I think it's covered the background quite nicely. Now you can see that the marshmallow colourful background is just showing through as colour as light, and not really as you know, in the patches that it was. Though you can, I suppose, if you look closely, you might see them. But there's still going to be another 2 layers of leaves. I'm going to just let these dry. In the meantime, I'm going to just add, with a bit of the lamp black, I'm going to add his claws, because you really can't see them on the brown of the tree. And even though the claws themselves are not black, well, the claws are black, but not the actual leg. But you just won't see it unless I use a stronger color. So I'll do that here. And I wonder if there's anyone out there who can tell me why they would call black lamp black. Because lamp mean you would associate light with a lamp and not black. But here in the claws clear here. I want them to be going around the coming out from his feathers, the legs, and then going around the tree, holding onto the tree. So I might have to cover them with a bit of feathers at the top there. And yeah, so that's it for the moment. I can't take it any further while the leaves are still wet, and I will come back later. Paint's not dry yet, but it's dry enough for me to add some more leaves. But before I do, I thought that, you know, the macaw is probably hungry. He's probably looking at something that he wants to eat in fascination. So what would that be in a tree? Possibly a mango or a pawpaw. So I'm going to draw in some mangoes, some nice juicy mangoes, and make that the focus of what he's gazing at. He's definitely gazing at something. So where shall I put it? It's hanging over there. A nice, big, round, juicy mango, which is maybe not going to show up too well over all this green, but there it is showing. So it needs to be a mixture of different colors, red and yellow, orange, white, a bit of green. And so I don't have orange on my canvas, but with a bit of yellow and a bit of white, sure I can make it. And so I'll do a few mangoes, and then I'll do the next layer of the leaves, but I need to get the green out. I don't have enough green on. I don't have the sap green, which I want to use on my palette. So it's a nice peachy pink, yellowy mango. I've added the mangoes. I think I need to add a bit more yellow, but it's just blending with the red right now, so I'll have to wait till it's dry. And I've added some more olive green, no, actually sap green leaves, just to bring those closer and to make them, you know, more visible around the macaw. But for the most part, I'm leaving them in this mixture of viridian and phthalo green, so that they don't, you know, detract too much from the macaw. Although, of course, a forest will have different colors. I think I'll also add some cool green, which will just give a nice pretty look. And then I'll try to fix the claws of the macaw, and I just, the black was too wet, so it blended with the brown that I put in for the tree, and that doesn't look nice at all. They are cynodactyl claws, meaning they have 4 claws on each leg, and 2 can turn backwards. They can pick up things almost like a human, which is very convenient for them, I'm sure. And so I do want to get those right. So I'll do those, wait for the claws to dry, and then I think that will almost be the end of the painting. So as you can see, I've added a bit of sap green almost all over, but not a lot, just a few here and there. And now I'm adding a layer of permanent green light, the color I like but never remember the name of. I always call it cool green. It's actually permanent green light. I was at the store and I checked it because I can no longer see the label on my my tube, so I thought I might as well check it while I'm there, while I was buying the emerald green and looking for pearlescent white, and I was unable to. I went to quite a few stores and no pearlescent white to be found, which means I can't finish my next painting. I mean, I could use ordinary white, but I just think pearlescent white will give it a lovely finishing touch. We need a touch more orange on this mango here. Get some light with a red, and maybe a little there. That one's not as ripe. This is the ripest. And then maybe a little touch of orange on my Mary Macaw. Just a little here and there. As the light catches him. And so the yellow's not really showing up too well. The white's not showing up either. Well, in fact, no, I didn't put white up. I put white up here, not yellow. But that yellow is showing up nicely, but not over the red. And then I need to add some more green leaves. I love the background color, how it's forming kind of a halo around his head and in fact around his whole body. But I think just a leaf or two that goes a bit closer. And maybe even one that kind of goes over his wings on this side. So that he's not completely, shrouded in leaves, but it's clear that he is surrounded by them. Then I need to refine his claws. I added some more mangoes on that side. They're not so ripe, they're rather green. And the feet, the legs, they're actually grey. Looks like they're grey, so I can't see if they're grey feathers or what, but they're grey. And then they become, well, on each leg they've got a foot, obviously, which has 4 toes attached to it. So 2 that are long and 2 that are shorter. So 2 long ones one going forward and one going backwards on one side, and then on the other side the shorter ones. So I guess I'll make, and they look, well, they also look grey. It's hard to separate them here on the tree. So this will be the long one here going forward, and this will be the long one that's going to the back, and then a shorter one on this side and a shorter one going back. But now the 2 are next to each other, so it's hard to see really exactly. So again, this will be the long one going forward, short one going backwards. Now it's also the 2 long ones on the same side, and then the shorter one, you don't really see much of the shorter one that goes to the back. And so in between I have to change that to brown, to the color of the tree. And then off of those toe things, you have the claws. The painting is complete. I think I have made all the changes that I can. I added a few more leaves around his beak because there was a bit too much yellow light around there, and a bit more a peachy color on the mangoes. I've tidied up the claws, and I think you can see them a bit more distinctly now, separate from the tree. And I brought the leaves in a bit closer over his front wings, around his chest, and added a few more tiny feathers around his eyes. Added the greenish mangoes on that side, and I also added some more leaves down here. There was a bit too much light there. So now I think I'm happy. I think my Mary Macaw is looking decidedly bright and sparkly and lovely against the background. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and please like and comment, let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye for now.